Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams and we are back with another 24/7 news video. We start this video today with some headline news, and that headline news is that Everton are considering Claudio Ranieri as the replacement for Carlo Ancelotti at Goodison Park. This news comes from Calcio Mercato. Whether this will happen, I don't know. Obviously, remember Ranieri for his fantastic 5,000 to 1 Leicester win in the Premier League season, which was absolutely fantastic, fairy tale story. I don't know about this. I personally don't think this is the right move. What he did at Leicester was a once in a lifetime. I don't think it'll ever be topped, and I don't think he'll get to that feat again. It was truly a Cinderella story. We did run a poll on the Twitter on the Toffee Blues. Don't forget to go to the Toffee Blues and follow them on Twitter for your voice to be heard in the many polls that we run every day. But we did run a poll on it asking fans, would you take Ranieri at Goodison Park? And we got quite a good response. Over 2,263 people voted. 32% voted yes, with an astonishing 68% voting no. The poll is still open for another 24 hours, so make sure you head over to the Toffee Blues on Twitter and just let us know how you feel. Vote down below for your voice to be heard. And we do run polls quite often, especially with managers rumoured to be taking over. So follow to make sure that you vote on them, and your results will be read out in the 24/7 news videos. Next, we move on to the news coming from Marco Timmer of Football International. This news is that Everton are after 25-year-old right-back Denzel Dumfries from PSV. I personally like this. I think he's a very good player. I think he's very athletic. He's very fast. I think he offers more going forward. And to be honest, this is a position that I think we all know needs an improvement. We did think we were going to get Max Aarons. Fabrizio Romano on Twitter said a couple of weeks ago no go, which we reported on the 24/7 news videos. Check out any of the old ones if you want to. So after being told we're not getting Max Aarons, we do need to look at somewhere else. I think it's fair to say Seamus Coleman is in the later years of his career, and in that position we need, somebody with a bit of pace, a bit of young energy, and I think Dumfries brings that. PSV will see him as a bit of an invaluable player, but I think the draw of the Premier League will be enough to drag him over here. Speaking of Fabrizio Romano, on his podcast, Here We Go, he said that the players didn't know about the situation with Ancelotti, and they were really surprised and disappointed when the news broke. So let's see what happens in the next few days. But Everton are planning, with Marcel Brands as director, to rebuild with a new manager. This doesn't surprise me. I think Ancelotti's departure took everyone by shock, including the board. Having Marcel Brands plan the rebuild and the manager makes sense. We hired him as the director of football for a reason. Other teams, Luis Campos was involved with their build that won them the league on this season for quite a lot of it. And it's not unusual for the director of football to have an opinion in the manager along with the board. It's actually quite good to know that we're putting our faith in Marcel Brands. This is where it's a make or break for him, I feel. I know a lot of people say that every summer, but this is really where he can show us how good he is. Obviously with the signings, but also with picking the right manager and picking an identity for the club moving forward. So it'd be really interesting to see. Fabrizio Romano also added on his podcast that they wanted to plan for the right man to get the job. He said it was a shock that Ancelotti left, so they need to plan something new, a new project. This does, like I just said, I think it caused a lot of people to be quite surprised, including the board, and the plans have sort of gone out the window slightly. I don't think it stops our main project, which is to break into the top 6, break into the top 4, continue on with the new stadium, and build us to be a real, thrusting into Europe and be a real threat there. So obviously that bit doesn't change, but obviously the man who leads it forward, maybe the identity of football we play needs to change. Ancelotti's was quite defensively structured first. I don't know where the club go here. Maybe we get someone a bit more attacking. Maybe we get someone who's a bit better pressing wise. Ask for a certain intensity. We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like the club are well aware that this needs to be an important rebuild. The Italian journalist did also add that the club have a long list with many options on it. Um, the news from England that it could be Steven Gerrard, Fabrizio said, is true, but he's not the first person on Everton's list. And that he'll have to see what happens at Everton in the next few days and see what Everton decides. I mean, where do you go with this? I don't see Steven Gerrard taking the job if offered because, of his Liverpool links. I don't see us offering it. I'm surprised he's even on the list. I don't think it's a great choice. He's a Liverpool legend. I think this is... I don't know. I think he's very far down the list, but the press are jumping on this because this is the big, oh my God, can you believe this? Steven Gerrard at Everton, let's run this. I think he would be one of the very last that the board surely would go for, just because the fans, I don't think the fans will respond very well to this. There was also mention of Moise Kean on the podcast. Romano said that PSG are discussing to get another season of a loan out of Moise Kean, but Everton want to wait and see what happens with the new manager first. They've said they've always wanted that 50 million or nothing. Ancelotti didn't like Kean and wanted him out. But obviously now with a new manager coming in, Everton are willing to wait a bit and see what the new manager decides. But he said maybe Everton keep him or they just sell him permanently. But the priority is to get a new manager in, discuss with the manager, then discuss with PSG. But PSG really do want Kean out on loan for another season. I think Kean wants to go as well. This is a tough one. I think unless a manager really says, Moise Kean's a make or break here, I can see the club selling. I'm glad the club are sticking to their guns of no loan, we sell or we keep. And 50 million's a good enough price tag. We make some money back on that. If we loan them out for another season, I don't know what PSG's move would be then. Maybe they're hoping that it's another year off his contract, so then they could start whittling it down. I think the club need to stay firm on this and say, listen, this is the price tag. Pay it or he comes back to us. I don't think there's any time to be nice. I think PSG will try and get him for the least amount of money they can. We also have news from The Athletic that most Everton players were said to be gutted and others disappointed at the news of Carlo Ancelotti leaving. Richarlison was one of the ones who took it quite badly, along with James Rodriguez, and it is said that James Rodriguez's future at Everton is in doubt. I don't think this comes as a massive surprise. The players, obviously, as disappointed as the fans. James Rodriguez, I feel like we always thought that once Ancelotti goes, he might go with Ancelotti. I don't know if he goes back to Real Madrid, where Ancelotti is now or not, but it's almost certain he will probably move on, unless we get a manager in that can convince him to stay. This one is a bit of a shame, but I'm not nearly as upset as if Richarlison jumps. Just because Richarlison, I think, has been quite a good player for us. He's still quite young, he's got a lot of potential, and he seems to get the club. He really enjoys being with the fans, especially when the fans were allowed back in and his name was being sung. He really seemed to connect with the crowds at Goodison Park, so I'd be quite upset to see him leave. But we'll have to wait and see if we can get a manager to convince him to stay. Fantastic. The Athletic have said that there are also some big names at Everton, player-wise, who are contemplating their future at the club. Again, this is after Ancelotti's departure. And again, depending on the players, it depends who they are. Obviously, we don't want to lose Richarlison. Personally, I don't think we want to lose the likes of Luca Dean and a couple of others. I don't know if this is more aimed at Alan, Rodriguez, and maybe, sadly, Richie. We'll have to wait and see. Again, a lot of this is paper talk, and a lot of this depends on who we get as a manager. If we can get a manager with some real intent who can convince these lads to stay, then they might end up staying. We also want to wish good luck to Joshua King, Theo Walcott, Yannick Bolasie and Mohamed Bezic, who will all leave the club at the end of this month when their contract expires. Along with them, we do also want to wish the best of luck to some of the under 23 and 18 players who are leaving. So Josh Bowler, Dennis Ardernan, Matthew Pennington, Connor Uzundis, Callum Connolly and Bobby Carroll. All of their contracts expire again at the end of this month, so we wish them all the best. Nathan Broadhead, Ryan Astley and Joe Anderson have all been offered new contracts at the club, and Kyle John's contract has been extended to July 2022. So this is good news. You know, we're keeping some of the youngsters. We're maybe letting go of some of the youngsters that the club don't see the potential in. It's unfortunate and we wish them all the best in their future endeavours. Robin Olsen will also return to his parent club at the end of this month when his loan expires. We like to wish Robin all the best in what he does in the future, whether that's coming back to Everton and Goodison Park or elsewhere or stays at Roma. We want to wish him good luck. And if he doesn't return, thank you for his time at the club. I thought he'd been an alright signing. He came in and he did what we asked, what we wanted from him. So, you know, thank you for that and good luck. Everton are also interested in Chris Wood from Burnley. The 29-year-old has a 30 million price tag, which is likely to put Everton off. And this has come from the Football Insider. Again, I'm quite glad the 30 million might put Everton off. Interesting signing. Very interesting, very good in the air. He's had a really good season. I've watched him a couple of times for Burnley this season. Burnley versus West Ham, where he won that penalty. He was absolutely fantastic, keeping the ball in and earning the penalty. He's a good player. Burnley really value him though. I think the 30 million to put us off is because Burnley realise how good he is for them. He suits their style. And he's a really good player for them. I don't know whether he's a type of player we'd want at Goodison Park. We'd have to wait and see on that one. But it looks like the price tag will put us off anyway. But that's everything we've got time for the news today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment down below on anything I've discussed today in today's video. You know, does Dumfries look like a good signing? Would you take Chris Wood at Everton? Would you take Ranieri at Everton? And who do you think could go this summer then? Which players do you think might want to jump ship? And don't forget to follow myself and the Toffee Blues on Twitter. Our links will be in the description below. And goodbye. See you guys later.